Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to a nice, crisp, clear morning here at the Hillside. I just want to take you on a little walking tour this morning, kind of show you what's going on here in the early spring garden, talk about some intercropping ideas, and just some overall thoughts about my approach to gardening this season. So let's go ahead and get started right here with this bed right in front of us. Now you can see this right here, guys. I made a video about how to grow your own never-ending supply of lettuce, and this lettuce here is called Prize Head. This is a fantastic variety. I love the coloration on it like that. It will head up a little bit, but you can also eat it as a leaf lettuce like I have been doing all season. But it is doing quite well, and luckily we've had a nice cool week, a lot of rain, so it's bounced back. We had a heat wave in the middle of April, which was just about wiped it out, which is just crazy, but now it's back to normal. It's only be like 72 today, so the lettuce is doing fantastic. Now if you look over here, guys, you can kind of tell here I already have a tomato planted here. And over here are a couple peppers and some morning glory vines I need to weed out there. But anyways, my thoughts on this is once this lettuce here is harvested, the tomatoes will actually start filling in this over canopy or the space that it's going to be grown in. So it's like a succession planting, right? So the lettuce comes out, the tomatoes start to grow. And again here, some more tomatoes that I planted a little bit earlier. They're doing quite well. Along with I did notice this the other day, guys. See this right here? That's actually a peanut. So yeah, last year I had to experiment in this bed, and I grew peanuts as a ground cover, kind of like as a cover crop, and apparently one did survive. So it's just gonna be what it is. So let's go walk over here. Now this is something, you guys, if you've never grown your own fresh thyme, you definitely need to, because look at these just beautiful flowers. If nothing less, I mean, just rub your hands on this and smell it. It's amazing. It's wonderful to cook with. Not like I always encourage people to use fresh herbs if at all possible, not the dried little green crumbs in a can. They're just not comparable on the flavor wise. But yeah, pollinators love this stuff, guys. But do be careful, it will spread. This was just one little plant, and it has taken over this whole front section of the bed, which is fine, but I'm pretty much gonna have to contain it to this little section. If it gets out of hand, I'll probably divide it up and maybe give some away. Now you really can't tell a difference, but right here, you maybe tell a little difference in the leaves. This is actually lemon thyme. So there are many different types of thyme, not just the regular thyme you're used to cooking with in the kitchen. So do branch out, try some different varieties of thyme. You will not be disappointed. And just some more of this little random experiments here, guys. These are little bulbules, whatever, from the garlic. And just kind of growing them out. You can use them as green garlic, harvest them fresh. They're not really going to bulb up in the first year, but I didn't want to go to waste, so I'm just kind of experiment to see what happens. And I'm not really sure how this, pretty sure it's a cucumber got put in there. Not really sure, but it's there. So let's keep going on. Now, these right here are my sugar and snap peas. We eat the whole pod and all. Beautiful flowers. Yeah, this has actually been a really great season so far for the cool season crops. Really excited. Last year just got so hot, so fast, out of hand, that none of the cool season stuff really did well. So this year, lettuce and peas, hopefully they continue to do well. Over here, I haven't really decided completely what I'm going to do with this side, but as you can see, there are some cucumbers I planted here already. Here's another random tomato. I just wonder if I put a variety on this. That's just an old tag. Yeah, so mystery. That is a mystery tomato. I think that's one that I started and I just lost the tag for it. So we'll see what happens. And yet another cucumber here. So my idea is to let this kind of just vine around in this bed on the ground, and it'll cover all the space up. So definitely, hopefully it'll sprawl out and just kind of fill this in. Some asparagus. I did dig these up. These were in the garden bed, which I'll show you here in a second ago. They're in the walking path. I was like, I need to dig these things up so I can transplant them, and I'm going to grow them out this year, and in the fall move them somewhere, give them to somebody else. Who knows? Some more garlic experiment. I think this actually, if I must say, I went to visit my buddy in Idaho, and there was some garlic. I got the bulbules off that. And this is actually year 2 of the bulbules, so I'm not even sure what variety it was, but it's kind of cool. Just to say I got something I brought back from Idaho with me from my friend's house. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's a nice little garlic little experiment going on there. Now this right here, guys, let me just back up so you can see the whole thing. Check this out. So these are sunchokes, and I grew I think I put a dozen bulbs in here last year, little tubers, and it filled up and it was amazing. I harvested, I mean, pounds and pounds and pounds, and sold to restaurants. Chefs love these things to cook with fresh. But I mean, these things, I thought I harvested most of these, quite honestly. I didn't think there was many left, but yeah, if you leave a little bit, you're gonna have a lot. So I mean, this is just insane. But do check this out right here. This old wooden 4x8 raised bed, it is not holding up to sun chokes. It is actually poking through the seams here. It's busting out everywhere. So maybe not the best experiment, but here we are. I mean, just look at this. This is like an actual jungle. You cannot even see in there how thick this is. So maybe for biomass production, if you really want to chop and drop some sun chokes, I might do that to kind of thin this out a little bit. But yeah, sun chokes, they will absolutely take over the world. But you know, whatever, you can eat them. They're great for pollinators as well. So moving on. More lettuce trial. This is the salad bowl lettuce, which I'm actually going to harvest this entire head today. Have some nice cool salads. Another of the prize head lettuce, which is doing fantastic. I haven't even touched this one, so I'm trying to let this kind of head up a little bit. See, just kind of try that out. A bit of blue curly kale right here, which is also good for salads picked fresh. This is some nice arugula, which is actually starting to bolt to flower. So probably have to take this plant out as the leaves will get a little bit bitter, but you can also eat the flowers from arugula. Okay, so adds a nice little zing to your salads, if you will. There's another random garlic over here. Now this, I tried to grow some shallots, and well, they're kind of growing and kind of growing. They've just been kind of sitting there. I'm not sure what's going on, but that experiment may be a fail. This right here is a red bell pepper. You can kind of see the tag right there. My idea with this again is as this arugula comes out, the pepper in the warm heat comes in, fills in this spot, so I'm getting a head start. Some onions left over from last year, overwintered. And here's my another experiment. These are carrots. Nice lush foliage of this carrots here, right? Doing well. And over here is garlic. Now these actually are big enough they should bulb up. I was trying to do interplanting the carrots and the garlic, and well, the carrots just kind of got really big and took over this whole area. So hopefully it doesn't affect the garlic too much, but I figure the carrots will be coming out here in the next few weeks to be harvesting, and then the garlic will actually be able to have full sun and, you know, plenty of room right there for them to kind of grow out. So let's go ahead and walk back over here to the other side of the garden. Just a little peaceful morning here. I love walking through the garden in the mornings. It's a nice early sunrise, got the dew on the ground. It's a wonderful feeling. So this little bed over here with the hoops on it, which I used kind of as a season extension, put some plastic over it, kind of make a little modified hoop house. You can grow things in the winter, keep things alive. That's for another video. Some more cucumbers here at the end, some bush beans that are popping up right here, and some more peppers on the end. Now we walk over here to this part of the garden. This is where it kind of gets a little bit, we'll say, wild. Okay, so here's this this asparagus here. It is in flower already. It just needs to be moved, but I never got around to it. So it's right in the middle, in the way of everything. But still, even though it's in completely in the fern stage, it is still putting on new spears, which is all right with me. And a cucumber back here, using that vertical space with this tomato cage it's on. And this is what I was talking about, guys, right here. Another random asparagus just growing right in the middle of the walkways here. So I do need to move these things, but it's got to be the fall. You don't want to transplant just now. I believe I had a comment on one of my other asparagus growing videos if I could transplant asparagus now. I probably would not. I would hold off if at all possible until the fall. Now these are some volunteer potatoes I grew, and they're just popping up here. So I'm gonna let them go and do their thing and harvest them soon. Probably as baby new potatoes. Kind of need this space back, and I really don't want to be digging up potatoes in the middle of my garden right here. I have other plans for it, but that's just gonna have to wait until these guys are gone. Now this space under here, underneath this other gigantic asparagus, now these are watermelons. These are the Alibaba watermelons. Got these from Baker Creek. It's an old heirloom from the Middle East. It's supposed to be extremely sweet flesh watermelon. Looking forward to that. And that's why these potatoes need to go, because I want this whole area here to kind of be a place for the watermelons to sprawl out. And there's another watermelon here amongst the raspberries. So that's an exciting thing. Let me show you over here if I can navigate without stepping on things. The raspberries are in flower, so that's excellent. Hopefully we get some nice raspberries this summer for the first time, as last year they didn't really do anything. They were just babies. Now coming over here, now these onions right here, I'm not exaggerating. I know onions are supposed to be annuals or biennials. They are flowering, which you can kind of tell the flower heads are kind of past their prime here, and they're gonna put out tons of seed. But this little clump of onions down here, guys, these are not supposed to be perennial onions, but they've been here for like 5 years, and I don't know why, but they just keep growing, so I just let them grow. It's a nice little ornamental plant for me. Every now and then I might pick a leaf here to cook with, but I have plenty of other onions I can use that with. Canna lilies, of course, this is typical red flowered canna lilies. You've seen them all over the place, and I use these as kind of a chop and drop kind of a cover. Got the idea from David the Good channel. He does that in his Alabama garden. Grows the not this variety of canna, but a similar one. It's used more for a biomass, but it does make a wonderful chop and drop for mulching in the summer garden. Again, random potatoes coming up in the walking path, so deal with that. This was supposed to be a patch of popcorn, which has very sporadic germination. Hopefully it's not a dud, but you know, it's an experiment. It's all just an experiment. It's all about having fun, so we'll try it out. And if the seeds are old and they didn't germinate or something, then you know, we'll go something else. Now look in here, guys. These are sunflowers, and no, I did not plant these. These had to have come up through I did grow some sunflowers before. These must have been through the compost or something, but it just goes to show you guys that plants, they'll grow where they want to, and they'll be, you know, you put all this work and effort into starting seeds inside and transplanting and labeling your cups and watering and fertilizing and lights and all this kind of stuff, but nature will do it at once and does it better than we can. But look at this, guys. This is probably 4 feet tall. This is only, you know, early middle of May, and let's see, is it going to flower? Maybe. It might have the very, very beginnings of flowers forming on it, so I don't know what variety this is, but we're going to go with it. Some more sunflowers back here, guys, kind of shading out my onions that are not doing well really at all, but it's just an experiment. Those are some old seeds I had, so they're probably just not doing very well at all, quite honestly. Moving over here, guys, and thank you for taking the time to watch this entire video. It does mean a lot when you guys watch and comment, so if you see something you like, please give it a nice little comment, all right? This is a little gooseberry I planted. It's doing quite well. It kind of got ravished by some deer, trampled on it basically, but it's recovering this year. Some strawberries. It's a little underground cover of my apple tree. Yes, and this is a dwarf apple, but I'm not going to let it get very big. I'm going to try some pruning techniques, maybe espalier, cordon, something like that, to keep these apples very small for the garden here. And you can tell it is behind the fence. You can see the deer netting because I left this apple tree out in my yard. It would be just destroyed by the deer. So yeah, it's going to be a little experiment, and maybe I'll take you along with that when I figure out how I'm going to do it to kind of keep these apple trees small. Again, more garlic, which is just kind of, it's okay. I think this area here stays a little too moist. This is very, very you know, heavy soil. It's very dark, full of compost. So I think the garlic actually prefers a little bit more on the drier side, but we'll see. And here, there, if you can see right there again, another apple tree. Again, going to try to keep that small. And I just built this bed this year, guys, and I kind of messed up. I was going to try to grow some potatoes, which you see one grew out of the whole batch here. But I think the problem is I used a whole bag of fresh rabbit manure, and these little pill bugs or roly-polies, whatever you want to call them, have just absolutely swarmed this entire bed, and they are just absolutely everywhere. And that's kind of my own fault, because there's just so much organic matter in this bed that's just what they do. You know, they're nature's decomposers, and they're just doing their own job, you know. So I might let this sit kind of fallow for a while, let them kind of work their magic, and then I'll put more soil on top, and hopefully they stay below the soil level and I can actually grow something on top. But that's a project for maybe next weekend, as I have a lot of stuff I need to do today, and there's just never enough time to get everything done that you need to do. So it's just a quick little tour of what I got going on here in the garden, early spring 2024. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. Like I mentioned before, please give us the nice big thumbs up and a like. and let me know what you liked about this the most. So hopefully you guys, your garden's doing well where you're at, and we'll see you here later on in the Hillside for some more updates as the season progresses. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.